This 22-year-old entrepreneur has been taking over the info space, inventing new content formats that are being copied everywhere, building one of the most influential personal brands in the history of info, and scaling his company Grow Acquisition to over $600,000 in a single month purely organically. But how is he even able to do all this? Well, it's definitely not spending thousands of dollars on paid ads. It isn't because he has a massive audience, and it's definitely not because he's spamming cold outreach to people. But rather, it's all because he's mastered this one thing that I call the authority content funnel, to position himself as an industry leader and drive thousands of ICP prospects into his pipeline every single month on autopilot. And so in this video, I'm going to be walking you through exactly step by step how this system works, the key takeaways you can apply to your own business to continue scaling, and exactly how to replicate this funnel so that you hit a new revenue record in your coaching business every single month. This is going to be a lot of important information in a short amount of time, so please grab a pen and paper, get ready to take some notes, and let's get right into it. All right, so here's the map so you can follow along. Firstly, I'll break down the exact positioning architecture that he uses to position himself as an industry leader to attract only the most high-intent premium ICP prospects into his pipeline. Secondly, I'll break down the full authority content funnel that he uses to turn organic content into a sales engine with 10x better returns than paid ads. And finally, I'll break down exactly how you can replicate the same marketing principles into your own info business to continue scaling up every single month on autopilot. All right, so starting off with the positioning architecture and exactly how he positions himself as a premium industry leader so that he attracts the upper echelon of coaches, consultants, and founders. For example, if we take a look at his Instagram profile, you'll notice that he has a simple bio structure with the first line telling people exactly what he does in a generalized way, a simple DM CTA to learn more, and a CTA to watch his private 2-hour content masterclass, which is an authority building YouTube video showcasing a mastermind presentation that he hosted. And the reason why he doesn't redirect you to an organic VSL like a free course or a polished educational video is because he uses a concept called undocumented content to further amplify his premium positioning. Simply put, his new content is rarely ever a sit-down, thought-out video. Rather, it's content that feels like a camera is following him, documenting things that just happen to be happening, rather than him intentionally sitting down to film a video. And this automatically builds authority because it feels effortless, right? It feels like we're getting sneak peeks into his life, getting full behind-the-scenes access, and making his content feel much more authentic. It feels as if the viewer is getting private access into his life, whereas his sit-down, more thought-out videos makes it feel like he has all the time in the world to just sit down and talk in front of a camera. This strategy subconsciously positions him as a premium, right? Because you're led on with snippets derived from a bigger picture, one that you can never truly uncover through simply just his free content, building immense amounts of curiosity and mystery around his brand, which in turn makes high-level entrepreneurs want to work with him because it feels like they're getting access to something highly exclusive. He went from posting very hyper-niche content on Instagram and YouTube to making a sudden switch to broad content that focuses on attracting his dream follower, which is essentially a broader avatar that still contains his ICP inside of it, while still being broad enough to get a lot of views, making his content feel almost philosophical. And this goes against all the advice that every single guru tells you to do, which is micro niche down. Now, the funny thing is, if you're just starting out or you're a bit lower level, trying to replicate this positioning strategy is going to fuck you over. You need to play into your strengths. Nick Setting is able to post broad content about business to get millions of views and have the entirety of info copy his format because he plays into the positioning that works with his brand design. It amplifies his personality archetype, creating a one-of-one personal brand where people can copy him, right? People have done it all the time, but all it does is reactivate the association the viewer has back to Nick Setting in their head, which cements him even higher as an industry leader. And his positioning goes even as far as his visual design. Almost every single piece of content isn't filmed in some stuffy room or some seemingly normal looking backdrop, but rather every single video is filmed in an environment that feels high depth and luxury, which again further amplifies his premium feel in his content and plays right back into his positioning, which in turn overall just improves the entire video, messaging, targeting simply through the visual design. So what can we actually take away from this? It's the simple fact that in order to grow a one-of-one personal brand that gets 10x better returns than paid ads, you must master your positioning. Alex Hormozi, for example, would do much worse if he tried to copy Nick Setting's positioning, and vice versa. You need to play into your personality archetype that amplifies your overall character and personal brand so that it actually separates you from the thousands of other people in your niche. Because only then when you find your positioning and master it will you build a one-of-one personal brand. By the way, I hate to interrupt, but before we get back into the video, if you're a coach, consultant, or founder, then I invite you to go down below and book in a free one-to-one consultation with me and my team. This is the same consultation call where Hamza, using the custom end of call roadmap that we gave him, was able to make a few changes and tweaks, and after that, booked 20 plus qualified sales calls from one YouTube video, simply from one consultation call. The call, the audit, and the strategy is all completely free. The only cost is about 30 to 45 minutes of your time, and the absolute worst case scenario is that you leave with a fully custom tailored roadmap on the exact next steps you need to take in order to scale your business. So go ahead, book in your call now, and I'm excited to see you there, and let's get back into the video. And so now that you know exactly how Nick Setting positions his personal brand, let's talk about the exact authority content funnel that he uses to turn his organic content into a full-fledged sales asset. Now, before he even made this switching content, Nick Setting didn't really have any top of funnel content. 99% of his videos were hyper-niched Miro board breakdowns that spoke directly to his ICP, which in theory is perfect for aggressively scaling, but eventually it plateaus because in order to actually scale to bigger numbers, it's extremely important that you have a higher volume of lead flow coming in. So Nick Setting made a switch to creating these broader Instagram reels and YouTube videos still in market about business, but were just much broader and easily marketable. And in a short amount of time, he ran up millions of views, grew tens of thousands of followers in just a couple of months, and most importantly, scaled lead flow to tens of thousands of ICP flooding his calendar every single day. This led to him breaking past his plateau and hitting $600,000 in the month of April because of his aggressive switch in content. And so the simple takeaway from that is that micro niche strategies and acquisition channels are extremely effective, but they have a ceiling. Once you can actually scale your lead flow by creating more mass market content, in simple terms, once you can get more views and more people looking at your content, then your micro niche sales assets are actually able to convert at a much higher scale. Now, top of funnel is great for getting people into your pipeline and ecosystem. However, the next layer of that is the middle funnel content to nurture prospects, educate them, and pre-sell on your offer. And the good thing about Nick Settings' content ecosystem is that he's been posting middle funnel content for years now. Being his primary content style, he has every single video on the profile funnel, his exact system, funnel breakdowns, client case studies, etc. There's really not a shortage of middle funnel content for him. Every single piece is educating prospects, pre-handling objections, pre-selling on his offer, and positioning him as an expert in the niche. So in simple terms, he's pretty much mastered middle funnel content. Because when you can build a content system that brings in thousands of prospects every single month into your pipeline, educates them on how to build profitable content and backend systems, pre-handles any of their objections, and pre-sells on your offer to make you stand out as a go-to option in their niche, then you will have built yourself a content funnel that gets 10x better returns per dollar than paid ads. And now the final thing that ties his entire content funnel back together is his bottom of funnel. See, Nick Setting has a dedicated Instagram and YouTube channel to his company Grow Acquisition, where he posts nothing but client interviews, testimonials, and case studies, being the final push that prospects need to have full belief and trust in Nick Setting to then book a call and actually work with him. Creating a secondary YouTube channel and Instagram page for your business to post nothing but client results is extremely effective because not only are you building trust and belief with your prospects, but you're also not burning out your main audience on your main page. That way you can still spam CTAs and still redirect people down the funnel without overdoing it with your main audience. And what that does is it acts as a dual flywheel to continue doing its job without mitigating the other. And finally, all these content assets and systems drive down to a simple Calendly booking page. No VSL, no landing page, just a few qualifying questions and a calendar. By the time his prospects reach this calendar, they're already extremely qualified, high intent, and are just ready to piff on the first call, basically. And once prospects fill out the calendar application, they are then redirected to a simple pre-call video. Not a pre-call page, not a huge sequence with a bunch of emails, simply just a video breaking down his entire process with his CMO. There's no need to overdo it for him. This ensures that every single qualified high intent buyer is sold on the call and knows what their exact next steps are. And so in summary, all these different content assets and positioning architectures all create what's called the authority content funnel, the system behind Nick Setting $600,000 months and six-figure days. So by now you understand the exact system behind Nick Setting's record months and takeover of the info industry, and you're probably wanting to do the same. But like I mentioned before, this isn't just a one-size-fits-all approach. What works for Nick Setting isn't going to automatically work for you, but of course you still want to scale. So that's why I went ahead and dissected the most effective marketing strategies inside of Nick Setting's funnel, along with hundreds of other six-figure a month plus info products, and compiled all the best strategies into one system that we call the hybrid profile funnel. Now, this would be way too long of a video if I broke down the full system here. So if you want to learn exactly how to implement this system into your business to scale past your plateau and actually hit your goals so that you can actually make way more while working less, then go ahead and watch this video here. I think I'll leave a card somewhere and you can go ahead and watch the video. I'll also link it down below, and you'll learn exactly how to build a ridiculously profitable info funnel. Now, one more thing I wanted to mention is if you're okay with taking time away from your business, spending the hours and hours of testing and iteration to build this funnel for yourself, then by all means watch the entire video and implement every single thing I say. But if you want to have these systems built out for you properly the first time, save the months of building, testing, and iterating time, and focus on what you actually do best to scale your business, then I invite you to book in your free one-to-one consultation with us. On that call, we'll fully audit and consult your current info business, identify the biggest bottlenecks holding you back, and give you the clear next steps to scale your business. The consultation is fully free, the strategy is fully free, and the audit is fully free. The only cost is 30 to 45 minutes of your time, and the worst case scenario, the absolute worst case scenario, is you'll leave with a fully custom tailored roadmap with the exact next steps you need to take in order to scale your info business. At the end of the day, I'm not pressuring you to do anything right now, but I just wanted to remind you that your time is very valuable and the choice is yours. But yeah, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Go watch the next video down below, and I will see you later. Peace.